I was just pleased with the professional approach and um, guys not overcomplicating things, playing the game in a simple way, and um, scoring some good goals. And it's nice to see some of those young kids get the spotlight with their minutes. A lot of firsts with the goals with Steven, with Kenji, with Stefan and Adamar. So pleased for those guys. A couple assists and a debut for Ayub. I thought that was neat to see. Certainly a great story with his journey. Obi with a lot of assists. It was hard to drag him off the field. He wants to play, but yeah, those were some of the guys that stood out. Andre, I think you see um, his range of passing with the ball. It was some really impressive moments where he gets us running to goal with the timing and the weight of his pass. So that highlights a few of them, but it was a collective, strong effort.
You mentioned a lot of those young players there, and I mean, just going back 2 years ago, that maybe wasn't an option at your disposal to use those kinds of young players in these kinds of games. What did they bring today, and what does that kind of mean for the organization to be able to give those guys those opportunities and have them perform?
You have to earn it as a starting point. I think all the guys that were on the field earned it because there were certainly, players that if we wanted to, maintain some fitness could have been out on the field. But I think utilizing your depth on a night like tonight was important. And you also get some answers as far as how does some of these young kids step on the field and play the game. And I thought they did it the right way, playing on 1 and 2 touch, moving the ball up the field, not getting caught on the dribble and showboating and just doing things that were unnecessary. So that part I was pleased with. I think the young kids took their minutes really well.
You mentioned Obi not wanting to come off the field, and he's now up to 5 assists in this tournament. I think that's the club record at this point.
Yeah.
He's not a guy who's always been an offensive driver for you, but he's done so in this tournament.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from him that's been special or different?
Well, how we've, I think, utilized him positionally has put him in advanced spots to make more plays. We've talked about some of the movements out of the midfield that he's taken to in a really good way and recognized the right moments to find himself free and running to goal, and then has done a good job of finding the final pass. So, it's important for him to be out on the field and competing for this club. So he doesn't take any opportunity lightly. He wants to be out there and show himself always. So another strong performance from him.
We'll go to Laurel.
Are you guys trying to get Obi up the field more this year? Or is that just something that's kind of looked that way these last 2 appearances for him?
Both, just looking at different, I think structures, different relationships in the midfield and seeing how we can unlock different things in our attack, which is a lot of what we talked about previously. So I think he's done a really good job in finding more advanced positions in the end product. But is that, how it'll be looking moving forward? Not necessarily, but again, we've utilized these the preseason in these first couple games to try to find different answers, and certainly I think it's been promising as far as his output and some of the things we've seen with our midfield.
And then I know you guys, just got through this, and so you're probably not looking ahead too much, but just going up against Tigre is a strong team in the next round. Do you have any initial thoughts on that? And then is there any concerns about the trip to Mexico, just given what's going on there right now?
No initial thoughts. What I will say is we have an important game on Saturday, and so we won't talk about Tigres until it's necessary. We understand that we had, a matchup against them last year, and when the time's right, we'll address that. But as far as what we need to focus on now, it's turning it around quickly for what will be a tough game and a tough atmosphere and conditions on Saturday. So, yeah, maybe we can revisit that in a week or two time. Let's get through a couple league games.
We'll go to Kenta now.
Steven Jimenez had the goal and assist, but even earlier in the match, it felt like he was really confident on the ball, had that Travella through ball early in the match against to Barlow, especially kind of with his injury history over the last couple of years. What has stood out the most in terms of what he's been able to do in the preseason coming into this season?
Who did you say? I'm sorry, I missed
Steven Jimenez,
Steven.
just
Okay.
the confidence on the ball that he had tonight.
I think every time Steven's on the field, he takes his opportunities well. I think he has a really good feel for the game. Finding ways to connect, our back line forward, how he moves behind pressure and connects passes. I think he just reads the game at a good level for, I say a young player, but it feels like, we've been saying this for years because he's been with us for quite some time. And then defensively, he's got bite. He competes. If you would have seen him a couple days ago, and he's matched up in isolation with Ayub, and there's no reason for him to win a physical battle or to compete thinking that, he can outman a guy like Ayub, but in training, he competes against everybody in the right way. He's physical. I think he's got good footwork, knows how to win individual duels, which is very important. And so I've been really pleased with Steven, and it was nice to see him rewarded tonight, not only with the minutes and, us winning a game, but his involvement and getting the goal as well. As you could see, it means something to him. So I'm happy for Steven and his play.
Yeah. On a similar note, you talked about how a lot of the younger players were able to really shine today. How significant is that MLS Next Pro season starting very soon for FC Cincinnati too? The developmental track there, and how pleased are you to see that these players are developing at the Next Pro level and able to contribute at the first team level?
Certainly the bridge from our academy to MLS Next Pro and the minutes and the developmental pathways for these guys. It's a different timeline based on how these guys perform, what's ahead of them, as far as our first team roster. And so for somebody like Steven, he spent a majority of his time with the first team in trainings, but he still gets games, and it's helped him to stay fit, stay sharp, stay competitive. And you have to have the right mentality, and he's done that. For somebody like Andre, now you can see spending time at the MLS Next Pro level, and now understanding how that positions him in the first team. It's certainly it's paid its dividends, but for each player it looks a little different. How much time do they need to understand the game and get minutes and struggle and have success, all of these things. It's, I think it's shown in a really good way. Somebody like Adamar, less time, but he's utilized the preseason and an opportunity to be on the field tonight and scores a really good goal. So it's all timing, and it's all the individual and how they progress and the work they put in, because I think we have a good platform with MLS Next Pro in general, but in our club. But how do these kids utilize their time at the different levels and different stages to advance and be ready for first team minutes? And so tonight was a good showing for the club, for MLS Next Pro, for these kids specifically. So it's only one game, and you try to help them understand, enjoy this moment, and rightfully, and then put it past you and figure out how to continue to move forward. I can hear you.
Yeah, well, kind of a follow-up to Kenta's question, but seeing the contributions from the younger guys tonight, what does that do for you and your staff in terms of game planning and kind of confidence building and the depth of your team moving forward in the cup and in league play?
Look, some of these kids are still, I would say, behind some of the players that we've seen consistently. That's okay. You know, the production tonight and the performances tonight aren't going to jump them ahead of a lot of the guys that are have been performing consistently at the first team level for quite some time. So, like I just said, it's progress, but one game isn't going to be the difference. It's just part of a process of building these guys up and giving them the opportunities at the right time. So a good showing and something to look at and show them standards and show them how to approach each game the right way to stand out. And you know, there might be a good showing tonight for guys with goals and assists, and then, you know, the next week, 2 weeks, months might be them getting MLS Next Pro minutes. That's part of it. So it doesn't guarantee anything other than showing a sign of progress.
Last question, Jose.
Buenas noches, profe, para Contragolpe TV. Quería felicitarlo por el pase a la siguiente ronda, por respetar al rival. Y estos partidos le sirven para observar nuevos jugadores. ¿Está satisfecho con el rendimiento de los jugadores que tuvieron oportunidad hoy?
I want to say thank you and congratulations for the game. For you respect the other team because you scored 9 goals. That means respect. What is next for Cincinnati on the minutes of all the players for tonight?
What's next for
Cincinnati?
Yeah.
In the next games with all the minutes you played today.
These you know, first 3 games, what it's allowed us to do is balance out some minutes. Of course, the result in leg 1 and our season opener helped inform how we started this game. And as the first half progressed, it informed how we made changes at halftime. And what I'm pleased with is that the guys did it in a professional way to allow some of these younger kids the opportunity to go out and get meaningful minutes. And of course, we said before the game, you respect your opponent. The score line is in our favor, but now we have an obligation to go and perform in the second leg the right way. And I think we did that. Of course, the score line is lopsided, and it's not to disrespect your opponent. It's to play the game the right way. And part of that is continuing to attack in the right moments and defend the right way to keep a clean sheet. And I think we did that. And so I'm pleased with the veterans, the leaders to lead by example. And then now I think, go into the weekend with, some fresh legs and hopefully a group that's ready to have another strong performance.
Pat, sorry, one last one for me. You named Alvis Powell captain tonight. Could you talk about what went into that decision and what he means to this group as captain?
Yep. Excuse me. We've utilized different players to be the captain of this club in different moments. And Alvis, in my time here, has been a steady, positive influence in the locker room and for our club. Forget performances, whether he's out there, whether he's not, whether he performs, whether he doesn't. He's just a strong character for the locker room, and I think leads by example and has a lot of respect from his teammates. So tonight there was a couple options, and we decided to give him the captain's armband, and I think he took a lot of pride in it, and it was certainly a bonus to see him score a goal when he's the captain for this team.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Patrick Noonan, for being part of the CONCACAF Champions Cup press conference.